Joining the Globetrotters in 1957, Meadowlark Lemon was an instant crowd pleaser, and over the years he would dazzle millions of fans with his basketball wizardry.
Meadowlark is probably one of the greatest showmen that ever played basketball. He amazed people all over the world.
The ageless court magician's basketball career spanned 5 decades.
I played with Meadowlark and I traveled with him every night, and he did some phenomenal things out on the road.
Meadowlark worked the pivot to perfection, but he also knew how to work the crowd with his flair for comedy.
I think he was a natural showman.
It's a talent God gave him, and he like a ballerina on the floor dancing.
Have you ever seen me shake like that?
And wherever he go, he gonna make you laugh.
During his travels, Lemon performed in front of many world dignitaries, including 2 popes.
If Meadowlark can make the Pope laugh, he can make anybody laugh.
Meadowlark will always be remembered for his trademark shot.
Every night at halftime, he would shoot this hook shot from half court and would go in. And I used to think he was lucky. First couple times he did it, I said, well, this guy's really lucky. But after that, he made it like 5 in a row, and I said, it's not luck, this guy's really good.
Meadowlark's ability as a showman sometimes outshined his basketball talent, but it was precisely his skill as a player that allowed him to have fun with the game, entertaining fans with a wide array of basketball moves.
Aside from that, I think he brought joy to a lot of families.
I said, cut that man alone now. I like him.
I think Meadowlark loved to make people happy. The young kids around the world, they love Meadow.
He amazed people all over the world, so it's a great honor for him to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he should be recognized because he's probably the greatest showman that ever lived.
Les, yes, have a seat, please, yes, yeah. Les, Pee-wee.
Pee-wee or Les, whatever one.
Which one you like?
Depends. Pee-wee brings me more money.
Okay, everybody, call him Pee-wee. No, it's a pleasure to have you. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Share a little bit about your journey. I want to get into this perfect assist in a minute, but I want to talk about a little bit about the journey of the Harlem Globetrotters and the All-Stars. Because you, from my understanding, you was with them like 26 years.
1986.
Wow. Okay.
Was my rookie year.
Now, do we want to start about the little piece in the book where the dad cut your toes off the shoe and start from there, which got you to the Harlem Globetrotters, or where you want to start? Go ahead.
Well, actually, the part about my dad, actually the book, The Perfect Assist.
Jump right in the book. That's Perfect Assist.
Yeah, The Perfect Assist.
Talk a little bit about that.
Do you know what the difference between a pass and assist?
Yes.
What?
I know assist is going to get me something.
What is it going to get you?
It's going to get me a hoop. It's going to get me 2 or 3.
And what is a pass?
A pass is just passing it to somebody.
Okay. So,
come on, Coach.
You said an assist is a pass where someone else has success on the end of it.
Okay.
A pass is just a pass.
Okay.
So when I was in high school and when I was in college, I was one of the top assists, if not the top assist guy. We didn't really keep stats, but I was known for my assists. And then when I went to college, I was up there. I was always 1, 2, or 3. So my life consisted of making people around me better.
Okay.
And the only way that I could bear the title the best assist or be the assist leader is that other people had to have success.
Gotcha.
So I learned that very early in life. And this book is dedicated to the people who assist me off the court.
Okay.
And when you're talking about my father, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska originally, and my father sent us, there's 11 of us.
Okay.
I'm the second of 11.
Small family.
Tall family, but I was, yeah. So my dad sent us to a store to get some shoes, and I was in the 5th grade, and I just went from a predominantly white school, and I was going to an inner city school. And back then we used to call it crowing.
Okay.
I think they call it playing the dozens out here or something like that, but we called it crowing. And you did not want to go into the black school and your stuff wasn't together.
Right.
So went to get some shoes the night before, and my brother's shoes fit. My brother behind me shoes fit, but mine didn't fit. But I wasn't going to go to school next day so that they could sting on me about having old shoes. So I got a pair of shoes that were too small. Came home, we had to do the march in front of my dad, and I was walking funny, and my dad said, those shoes fit all right? I said, yeah, they're good. So he didn't say anything. Got up the next morning, our stuff was laid out to go to school. It was my brother's shoes, my shoes and my other brother's shoes, and my dad had taken and cut in the toe. He left the bottom part on, but cut the toe off the top.
Okay.
So that my toes could have room because the shoes were too small for him.
Right.
So he made me put them on, got in the car, got to the school. I was crying. I wasn't going to get out of the car. My dad was a Marine. He was a gunny sergeant in the Marine. And I just said, you know what, this is one time I'm going to be defiant.
Oh, you're going to get out the car.
Yeah, but I'm going to be defiant. So he got out of the car, he went around to the back, and I think he was getting, I thought he was going to get something out of the trunk to maybe give me a whooping or something to make me get out. You know, he didn't really need to do that. But then he came around and he had a pair of shoes for me.
Okay, okay.
And he said, hey, look, son, when I tell you to do something, I need you to do that.
Right.
And if you need some help, let me know, because I can make the difference.
Right.
And I always remember that whenever I got into a tough situation.
Right. Now that's beautiful, because that's what our young people need to know, that they can come to us and they just let us know.
Yeah.
And if they come to us, we're going to give them that perfect assist.
Well, you know, when I was a kid, these things came out called bugles.
Okay.
And they were potato chips, and the commercial was that if you blow in them, it'd make a sound like the bugle sound.
Yeah.
So we're thinking that we're going to get this past my dad, because he ain't really hip and cool and all that stuff. So we went to go get my same brothers.
Okay.
We went down there to get so we said, we're going to get these bugles. He won't know the difference. We came back home, and then he said, y'all get the cereal? We said, yeah. He said, well, go wash your hands and get cleaned up. We came back. He had them in the bowl.
In the bowl.
With milk.
Bugles.
Now, if we didn't eat them, we had to admit that we got the wrong stuff.
They got to taste like bugle, cereal.
So, man, we took all kind of sugar, and we put a bunch of sugar in there, and they dissolved because it was just, and we were sitting there just like, just barely eating it. So he left the room, and we tried to give it to the dog. The dog wouldn't eat it, and, you know, we had to do something. Then he came back in the room, and he said the same thing.
Right.
He said, sons, when I tell you to do something, do it. You know what? I could have got you the cereal and the potato chips.
Right.
He said, keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
And that's what my dad, you know, so that's the part of my dad in here. You know, I have a part with Pistol Pete, with Meadowlark Lemon. Fergie Jenkins was a professional, he was the first Canadian baseball player. He was actually the first African-American Canadian baseball player to make it in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So this is a tribute to a couple of teachers I had, and just some people in the neighborhood that made a difference in my life. And I'm traveling around the world, people get to see Pee Wee and all the people like Meadowlark and maybe Curly Neal, Pistol Pete, Michael Jordan. They get to see me with those guys.
Right.
But if it wasn't for these guys in this book, I would have never been in a position to see those guys over there. So I just wanted to make sure I took time. I think everybody should write a book and pay tribute to the people who help make a difference in their lives. You know, I think that's vitally important, to write your thoughts down and express your appreciation for folks.
Absolutely. And, you know, for our young people out there and us elders, that how important our mentors are to us. And it's important for us as adults to know that we are affecting some people's lives as they grow up. And obviously some of these people affected your life.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I think it's tough on people nowadays is because it's the instant gratification. I put a lot of, I have a lot of sayings in this book, and one of my sayings is that you don't know what you're missing until somebody gives you something you never had.
Right, okay.
And sometimes that is just love.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I wrote a couple little, and you know, some of them I've taken from some other people and mashed them together with my own thoughts.
Okay.
You know.
Now, you just shared one. Obviously, that's probably the first one. Is that the most important one to you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a little bit. I want you to go ahead. Yeah, some people will always.
Some people will always run from the truth and question everything, and run to a lie and question nothing.
Right, yeah.
And you know where you see that at the most? In churches.
Well, but you know, that's important, because we as society, that's what we run to. What's the fluff, the glitter, and it's not the truth.
Yeah, it's sad that we're in a time period where, and I tell people this all the time, the church used to be a light unto the world. But now the world's a light unto the church, because the church is constantly trying to duplicate. If the world has a fashion show, church has to have a fashion show.
Right, right.
If there's an American Idol, the church got to have an American Idol.
Right.
You know, so and that's the times that we're living in. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just it takes people like you and like these other young people out here to stand up and make a difference, because we're going to lose it. There's things that we will lose. We will lose. Some kids will never know what it's like to have a paper route. That's gone.
Exactly, yeah.
That's never going to happen.
Right.
Some kids will never know what it's like to shovel snow, to cut grass. So there's a lot of things that we're losing on a regular basis. I was sitting out there talking with the next two guests that you have. It's a fact that a lot of people say, a lot of parents will tell their kids, well, we didn't raise you that way.
Right.
And the reality is you didn't raise them. Because if they're 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours at school, and your clock has to line up just right, the average time, quality time a parent spends with a kid is 15 minutes a week.
Well, they're certainly not raising them
Yeah.
if they spend 15 minutes.
See, because we don't have the dinners and the breakfast and the lunch anymore.
Right.
You know, there used to be those check-ins where we had to check in because we had to be fed. Now we have vending machines, you know, parents just give you money for lunch money, and so there's no check-in times anymore.
Right, right.
And so and with the senior citizens, they used to be the watchdogs. You didn't need it. When we was kids, you know, you had dogs chained up, you know, in the alley and stuff.
Exactly, right.
But you had the dogs, but you had that grandmother who was sitting on the back porch
Watching
telling
everything.
all of your business.
Everything.
Before you get back
Right.
home, there was no
They already
cell
knew.
phone.
Yeah, they already knew.
You know, the carrier pigeon. Somehow you got home and your mother and them knew all your information.
And we say, how did y'all know?
Yeah.
We're in our head.
Yeah.
And they tell us, well, Miss So-and-so, and you can't deny it. You just look like, oh, my goodness. You know it's the truth.
And the problem is Miss So-and-so is not there anymore.
That's there. You're right.
Because they're not keeping the
Miss there.
grandparents in the home.
Right.
It's let's get them out. They're too much of a headache for us.
Right.
You know, and that's one thing that I would never do. When I was coming up as a kid, the thing that kept me out of trouble was I never wanted my parents to ever be embarrassed by me.
Right, gotcha.
The first time I said a cuss word and the last time I said a cuss word was January 16, 1982.
I know you said the first and the last. What happened?
Yeah. Oh,
Because something must have happened to
no, I
maybe
was
the
at a
last.
basket. We was playing our rival team, and my
Okay.
cousins just happened to be on the team. And I felt like I was back then Daryl Dawkins, being
Uh-oh.
5'6", and they didn't give me the ball down low when I had him post up.
Right.
And I said, "Give me the blankety blank ball." And I looked up and I saw my mother's face. She just kind of just shied away, and that hurt me so bad.
Right, right.
And I never. That's the thing that I hope that I instill in my kids is that, you know, when it's all said and done, I never wanted to make my mother and father embarrassed.
Right,
You know, they were not going to bring me in a police car.
right.
They were not going to put my name on TV about me doing some things that was uncharacteristic of what
Right.
my parents had raised me. So if we can get back to those things,
yeah.
get back to the family, get back to everybody trying to really work together, and we can't do that right now because everybody's trying to do their own thing.
Right. We have to collectively come together. And what you said reminds me of a scripture. And it says to us, all of us, that a child will be known by its good or its bad deeds. And that goes along with what you were just saying. It was important for your parents for you not to be known by your bad deeds, especially if your parents was looking at it.
Well, that's why, well, you
Yeah.
used to be, that's Jacob, son of Abraham, son of the, but after a while they said, no, don't make mention of my, you know, so.
Absolutely.
You know, but you know what, we can't give up. The fight is, we're not going to win the fight, but we can't stop fighting.
You can't stop fighting.
We're not going to win the fight, but we can't stop fighting. Fight battles that are big enough to make a difference, but small enough to win.
Absolutely.
And that's what my youth program, when my kids step on the athletic field, I say our success is not determined by what's on that clock. Every time that kid steps on the field or on the court, they have to win. Whether it's them attempting a left-handed layup and they're right-handed, whether them just following through. So I tell my coaches, you got to find something. Every time this kid steps on the floor, they have to win. But now everybody's trying to find the next LeBron James, the next Kobe Bryant, and there's so many kids that are being left to the wayside because everybody's looking for their next meal ticket.
And I want to talk a little bit about the Applause program. you have applause. Each one of those letters stand for something. So can you share with the viewers a little bit about that? And we're going to pull that clip up too. But go ahead.
Wait, clip, you got it?
We got, oh yeah, we got it.
Man, you've been spying. I got to get a quote about you in my book.
Okay.
You know? Well,
so applause, yeah.
Well, applause is that I think what a lot of kids don't know how to do is applaud themselves. I didn't. I didn't know that it was okay for me to applaud myself and say I did a good job.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't a big academic kid, but boy, when I got a C, man.
Right.
Other people, they said that's not the best, but I was applauding myself because I did something, I completed something. And so the applause is stand for anti-bullying, power of personal persuasion, and the acronyms go on and on and on, all the way down to literacy. So I try to get my kids to applaud something every day. So I tell my kids, no matter what, just make up your bed in the morning.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
If you don't do nothing else, make up your bed.
Right.
Because at least you know you accomplished something, one thing that day.
Right there.
Right there.
Starts
So
right there.
my program is about character education, and I go in and it's interesting. When I go into the schools, I could have 500. You know, my audiences range from 500 to 1,000. I don't use a microphone, and I don't have the teachers sit in the thing.
Right.
And I get the attention of the kids, and I present it in a way where they know what is he going to say next.
Right.
And I tell the teachers, hey, these same kids got ADD. These are the same kids you're kicking out of class.
Right.
These same kids you got referral, but for some reason, they're sitting down here and they're listening to me.
Yeah.
And so it's about how you present things to kids and how you touch kids. I don't let them sit up in the stands. I let them sit down so I could walk and I could touch them. I don't stay in one place, you know. Right. I'm always watching kids when they're coming in the gym. I go, okay, this one's having a kind of bad day. But you know who the worst out of everybody in the gym usually?
Probably the parents.
No.
Well, they're not in the gym. Okay.
It's usually the teachers.
The teachers.
I had a teacher, this is sad, I had a teacher hold a kid off from me. And because she said that he was too bad and he didn't need to be next to me.
Right.
And I mean, she was literally strong-arming the kid. And I said, let him go, let him go, let him go. No, he doesn't deserve it. I said, why doesn't he deserve it?
Exactly.
And why doesn't he deserve it?
Yes.
When he came to this school, he deserved the opportunity just like the kids that are here getting A's. He'll kick it one day. So it's just kind of the society. So what applause is that I try to go out there and teach parents and students and the educators that there's a better way. There's a simpler way. You know, there's a saying, a man got to do what a man got to do. No, a man got to do the right thing. And that's a woman too. It ain't, you got to do what you got to do. No, you have to do the right thing.
So and you know how powerful that is, because a lot of us grew up on a man's got to do what a man's got to do. But that's not so true. Or woman. Because collectively, we have to do this together. Man and woman, we have to do this together to make a difference. We want to build generational health and wealth and educate our children, because we're going to be gone. Speaking of that, can we run that clip? That's the pop for that.
Yeah.
Like you having a lot of fun there.
Oh yeah. You know, it's interesting. I look at those things, some of those reams. We call them reams.
Okay.
A lot of people call them tricks, but they're called reams. Every one I used in there was one I got from Pistol Pete Maravich.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pistol and I played together for 1 year.
Okay.
And it was the year actually right before he died. And we were in Covent. We just got through playing in Minneapolis, and we just was with Prince and Orange Juice Jones. And
Right. Okay.
they were all big
Yeah.
back then. And then we flew into Covington, Louisiana. And on the plane, see, back then we used to be cutting parts in our hair.
Right.
All kind of zigzag. And Pistol used to try to get me to cut a cross in the back of my head. And he told me, he said, hey, Pee Wee, he said, I didn't want to play in the NBA for 10 years and die of a heart attack at age 40. And that was in November. Before January, he turned 40. He was shooting on a court, took a jump shot, his heart exploded, and he died on the spot.
On the spot, wow.
And it was one of the freakiest things that I had to, I didn't even go to his funeral because he had just told me exactly what he didn't want to do. But Pistol was a great guy. Yeah. He's a heck of a guy, the half hasn't been told when it comes to Pistol Pete, if you could actually see the guy play on the court.
On the court, you know. Your mentors. Today's your mentors, some of your mentors. 5 of them.
My dad, of course.
Yes.
I wanted to be like my dad, walk like my dad. My dad is 6'3". I didn't quite get that, so started looking at the mailman and
right.
My dad and my mom. My dad and my mom would be number 1 and 2. Then who really was really impactful in my life was Meadowlark. Because Meadowlark basically raised me on the road. And he taught me a lot about life. He taught me a lot about when we go to places, find out about the economies, find out if you could live there. And I used to just sit and listen to him all the time, and the hard times that he had to go through being the most popular basketball player in the history of the world at that particular time. Yet still he couldn't eat in restaurants and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So Clark would be there. My high school coach, Coach Martin, he talked to me about taking things for granted. Okay. And I didn't know what the word granted meant.
Right.
So it made me go look at granted.
Yeah.
So that's what, 3 or 4?
That's 4.
That's 4. And the number 5 would be a collection of my family and friends and those who, when no one else believed in me, they, for whatever reason, believed in me. You'll have a lot of talebearers, and you can't be in my kind of position or your kind of position. And it's a sad thing when the scripture says, with much knowledge comes much grief.
Absolutely.
To whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
And the sad thing is that you don't get hurt by those who are far off. You get hurt more by those who are close to you.
Close to you.
And the success that you may have, or the way they may perceive you, they think that they say, hey, you changed. No, you haven't changed. You just haven't seen them in 20 or 30 years. You haven't changed yourself. But that's the sad thing, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. So the 5th would be my teammates, every one of my teammates.
Absolutely.
From Sacred Heart to Central High School, Creighton Prep, Iowa Western, to even George Fox out here. And
congratulations too on your master's.
Oh, master's?
Yeah, business.
Yes. Got an MBA.
Yes.
Got an MBA.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Was working on a second one too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say how I find out about that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, but those things, those accomplishments, they're a lot. They're a lot. They taught me some things, but I had to get out and start living. I had to get out, and I had to start making a difference in the world. I needed to really leave a blueprint. And if my blueprint, there's something in every one of us that separates us from everybody in the world.
Right. Okay.
There's one thing that separates us from everybody in the world, and that's what in my book. I don't know how much time we got, but in my book, when I was getting ready to try out for the team back then, they used to type. They didn't have the computer to make error check.
Right.
So I was leading the league in steals and assists, and someone typed in I was 6'9".
Okay.
And so everybody was willing to pay for everything.
Right.
Man, I'm feeling. So the guy called me.
Like 6'9".
Yeah. So the front office called me, and they said, "You're a big man." And
Right.
I said, "Yeah, I'm a big man."
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't know what was really going on.
Right.
Then when they found out I was 5'9", they didn't want to pay for anything.
That's something. Yeah.
And I was in Jack Ramsey's basketball. I was in the Trailblazers camp down in Salem, and Jack Ramsey. And when they wasn't willing to pay for stuff, I was a little disappointed and I wasn't going to go. And I went to pack my bags to go to the airport the next morning, and I cut half my finger off. And I said, this is a sign I'm not going to go.
Right.
And then I called my dad on the phone, and I said, hey, look, Pop, I'm just not going to go. And he was silent for a second. And he's a Mississippi boy. So
Right.
And he was silent for a second. And he said, you know what? He said, I spent too much time running you down to the gym, taking you from practice to courts. He said, you know what? You go down there and be you, because can't nobody beat you being you.
That's your blueprint.
Man, and you talk about being 5'9", I was 7'9".
Right,
After
right.
I talked to my father.
Yeah.
And so it's little things like that that has allowed me to be who I am today. But you got to have thick skin.
Right, absolutely.
And I tell all of you, you know, all
Young people,
entrepreneurs, you got to have thick skin, because it comes with the territory. And those people that you think that are in your corner, they're not bad people. The reality is they just got issues going on themselves, and sometimes people just don't feel good unless they are putting you down, because it takes the light off of them. So I want to just encourage you guys to keep doing what you're doing. And if you stop dreaming, your dream dies.
Right.
Dream an unrealistic dream and ask yourself, why not? Whoever thought I would be playing with Meadowlark Lemon, Curly Neal, Pistol Pete Mayer? Never thought it.
And speaking of that, it'd be remiss if you didn't do one of your rims.
Man,
You got to do something.
Wait a minute,
because we can close out.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from Dallas.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's rings.
The rings.
Yeah.
Well, you heard
Yeah,
my
you
southern.
said Lee.
You heard my southern up in there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna just spin this on out, ladies and gentlemen. This is the perfect assist author, Les Pee Wee Harrison. Okay, he's gonna do something else.
Les Pee Wee.
Pee Wee Harrison.
Hello? I think he sees something. That's Meadowlark. The quarter has not finished.
Yes, that was that cat, all right.
Hey, man, who's that cat coming down the street?
I don't know, but it sounds to me like that's just the man with the bone.
Sure having himself a ball.